Today we are going to discuss the determinants of the demand curve, or which you call the shifts of the demand curve. And there are four main determinants for the demand curve, and they are the income effect, the price of the substitute good, the price of the complementary good, and the price expectation of the same good. First, let's think about the income effect. So when your income increases, in general, the demand curve shifts to the right when the good is a normal good. But for an inferior good, even though your income increases, the demand curve actually shifts left because even if you get wealthier, you want to buy other luxurious or normal goods instead of the inferior good. The second factor is the price of the substitute good. Let's just think about the relationship between the Sprite and Coca-Cola. When the price for the Sprite increases, like if it increases infinitely, you will definitely want more of Coca-Cola instead of Sprite, right? So that's why the increase in the price of substitute good shifts the demand curve right, and the decrease of the price of the substitute good shifts the demand curve left. The same logic goes for the price of complementary good. So complementary goods are the goods which are consumed together. So for example, let's think about the bread and the milk. So if the price for the bread increases, the demand for the milk decreases because you cannot consume the same things altogether. So the increase in the price of complementary good shifts the demand curve to the left, and the decrease in the price of complementary good shifts the demand curve to the right. The last factor is the price expectation of good A. This is quite tricky, but if you think about how people make investments and buy stocks, this is more straightforward. So if you expect the price of good A increases, you will purchase the good now in order to not buy the good expensive later, or to sell the goods at expensive price later. So the high price expectation of good A increases the demand for the good A, and the lower price expectation of good A decreases the demand for the good A. And there are also other there is one thing I want to explain further about the price of good A. So there is a question asking you about how the price of good A shifts the demand curve right or to the left. So let's think about this. What happens to the demand curve when the price of good A increases? Lots of students answer that the demand curve shifts left because of the higher price, and demand curve shifts right because of the lower price. But that's not true. The question is asking you about the movements along the curve. So when the price of good A increases, what happens is the decrease in the quantity demanded, not the demand curve. Remember, the demand curve is the relationship between the price and the quantity, where the price determines the quantity in the market. The shift of the demand curve is about the changes in the relationship between the price and the quantity. So the price of good A itself does not change the relationship at all. It's just there is a change of the quantity demanded, not the relationship itself.